Welcome to Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women, the go-to podcast for women of color entrepreneurs overwhelmed by their finances and ready to transform their money mindset, take control of their money, and build sustainable wealth. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, certified financial coach and CEO of Money Honey LLC. I believe that abundance is your birthright and that good money management doesn't mean cutting out the joy from your life. Stick around to learn how you can build intentional money habits that align with your biggest lifestyle goals. Let's get into today's episode. Have you ever felt like you're doing great on paper? You've hit big career or business milestones, but behind the scenes, money still feels stressful, confusing, or full of guilt? That's exactly where my client Morgan found herself. She had the income, she had just moved into a brand new home, but she felt pressured to furnish every room right away, guilt for spending money on the fashion she loved, and stress from old habits like impulse spending and avoiding her bank account. The truth is, it wasn't that she didn't make enough money. It was that her system and her mindset hadn't caught up with her success. Welcome to episode 29 of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money. And in this episode, I'm walking you through Morgan's story as a case study. You'll hear how we created a plan to furnish her home one space at a time, reframed her love of fashion as something to be celebrated instead of a source of guilt, and built systems that gave her clarity and confidence with her money. And as you listen, I want you to think about what areas of your own finances feel heavy or guilt-filled. And know that they don't have to stay that way. If you're ready to create your own transformation, I'd love to invite you to a wealth alignment assessment. The link is in the show notes. I want to share a case study of my client, Morgan, and on paper, she was thriving, okay? She'd gone from broke college student to consulting engineer to real estate developer, but her financial habits hadn't caught up with her income. She came to me with a lot of tension around money. She was dealing with impulse spending, carrying large credit card balances, and often avoiding her bank account altogether. But one of her biggest challenges at the time was that she had just moved into a brand new home. It was bigger than any space she had ever had before, and she was so excited, especially about having an extra bedroom to host family and friends. But with that excitement came pressure. She felt like she needed to have the entire house furnished right away, and she didn't have the cash set aside to make that happen. It left her stressed, guilty, and overwhelmed. When we started working together, the first thing I helped Morgan do was take a step back and release that pressure. Furnishing an entire home at once wasn't realistic, and it also wasn't necessary. Together, we created a plan for her to prioritize which spaces she'd furnish first and then set aside money each month for her home expenses. Instead of rushing to fill every room, she focused on one space at a time, sometimes stretching it over a couple months. This gave her room to make intentional choices instead of reactive ones, and it made the whole process feel lighter. The other area we worked through was her love of fashion. Morgan is passionate about style and always wanted to add new pieces each season, but she carried guilt around shopping, telling herself that she shouldn't want those things and, maybe she already had enough in her closet, but she was so excited to see the new trends happening each season. And so I helped her reframe fashion as something that genuinely brought her joy and therefore deserved space in her budget. We set up a shopping fund, and she decided how much she wanted to allocate to it each month. That way, she could buy what she loved guilt-free while still staying within the boundaries she set. This shift helped her become more intentional about what she purchased and also allowed her to enjoy fashion as a passion rather than a source of shame, which I know my fashionistas out there, they get it. And the results were incredible. So Morgan went from constantly second-guessing herself to feel clear and confident about her money. Furnishing her home became a fun, intentional process instead of a financial burden. Shopping turned into an empowering experience where she could enjoy her love of fashion without guilt. But most importantly, she realized that managing money isn't about depriving yourself. It's about aligning your spending with what actually brings you joy and creating a plan that supports your lifestyle and your long-term goals. She told me that she finally feels balanced with money, and that shift allowed her to not only save more, but also enjoy the life that she's building without apology. Today's case study showed you how Morgan went from stressed and guilty about money, even with a high income, to confident and intentional with her finances. She furnished her home one room at a time, created a fashion fund that let her enjoy her passion guilt-free, and finally built balance with her money. Your action step this week is to identify one area where you've been carrying guilt with money, whether it's eating out, shopping, travel, or something else. I want you to ask yourself, how can I create space for it in my budget so it supports me instead of stresses me? And if you're ready for your own transformation, book a wealth alignment assessment with me. In just 60 minutes, we'll uncover your biggest money block and create a personalized plan to align your finances with your lifestyle and your wealth goals. The link is in the show notes. Now, make sure that you are subscribed because next episode, we are talking about the difference between a financial advisor, financial planner, and financial coach. And so if you've been wondering the difference between the three, you definitely don't want to miss it. I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I hope the insights shared in this episode have inspired you to take one small action step toward a more empowered relationship with money. I'm so grateful to be part of your financial journey, and I can't wait to see all the incredible moves you'll make. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.